All right, good evening. We're not a large group. We could like sit closer if we want or sit further up. I'm Joel Friedman. I want to welcome you on behalf of auction.com. I appreciate you coming out in the rain. I understand there's a lot of traffic. I think we have some more people coming, but we'll get started because we're also live streaming this. And so we have people who are logged in and they're going to be listening to it as well. So I want to thank you for coming. I think you've made a smart decision to come out and learn as much as you can about acquiring and investing in properties, foreclosure properties, properties that are going to be sold on the courthouse steps, and properties that have already been foreclosed on that still need to be sold. So how many of you have already purchased foreclosed properties, either at the courthouse or after they've been sold at foreclosure? And how many of you who have purchased these properties have bought more than 5? So excellent, that's great. So the fact that you're here will enable you to learn about what auction.com can offer you so that you can acquire more properties. And those of you that are learning about what to do with these properties, I'm glad that you're here as well. I am a former attorney. I live in Atlanta, and for over 30 years, I was a partner in a law firm that specialized in representing mortgage servicers and doing their foreclosures in 18 states. And our clients wanted to sell more and more of their properties at the foreclosure sales, and they found that they were more successful in selling these properties when they started using auction.com. So after I retired from the firm last year, I now am a national spokesman for auction.com because I think it's an extremely exciting company and what they're doing with these properties. So let me tell you about us, and then we're also going to hear from Liz Dunlap with Stewart Title, and we're also going to hear from Nick Walling with Colony American Finance. So we're going to give you a lot of information tonight that you're going to be able to use immediately. We are also live streaming this, so if you are listening to this presentation, you can see that we have an opportunity for you to ask questions by going to auction.com/ASKOH, and you'll be able to type in your questions, and after the presentation, we will have someone answer your question. And those of you that are here tonight, we will all be staying after the presentation to answer your questions personally. So auction.com, our mission is to provide information to investors to help sell more and more of these foreclosed properties. Because the goal is the banks don't want to be the owners and managers of these properties. We don't want to have our neighborhoods with unoccupied, vacant properties that can become a blight on the neighborhood. We want to stabilize the neighborhoods by having more and more properties sold and occupied, whether they're rental properties or whether they're residents that are owning the property that are living there. So that's our goal, and this is how we're able to accomplish that. Many of you, or some of you might remember, we used to do ballroom auctions where we would have a ballroom at a big hotel. Were you ever at any of those? And we had hundreds of properties being auctioned in one day, and we had auctioneers running around and people in tuxedos, and it was a very exciting way to auction the properties off in live auctions. We don't do it that way anymore. Some of the mortgage servicers might do that again, but for now, everything is done online, and that's what we're going to tell you about. Auction.com is a privately held company with over 1,000 employees. We're based in Irvine, California, and our tech group is in Silicon Valley. We also have about 450 part-time employees as well, because we cover the entire country. And in some states, foreclosures are only done once a month. And so we rely on these part-time staff to help us get to all the different counties in those states. You'll see Our staff at these county courthouses, as you see them here tonight, in these great green shirts. That green is a Pantone color called auction.com green. There's Tim modeling it for you right there. So you'll see that green everywhere. We actually have sold over $41 billion worth of real estate since 2007, over $8 billion in 2015 alone, and we're on target to exceed that in 2016. How do you find the property that you want to buy as an investment? It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, right? I love this cartoon. The difference with auction.com is we have pulled out all the needles for you and make it a lot easier to find the right properties. Earlier this year at South by Southwest, the company was rebranded as 10X. And in the 10X family of companies, we have a commercial division, 10X Commercial. We have 10X Homes, which is a division that sells properties that are retail ready. And that's a separate login than the one I'm going to tell you about tonight, which is auction.com. Auction.com basically has two platforms, and I'm going to go into details about what they are, but basically think of it as this way. The first are the properties that are scheduled for foreclosure sale at the county courthouse. Those properties are going to be sold by the sheriff, they're advertised in the newspaper, and those are the properties that are being foreclosed on. When those properties don't sell, when no one buys them, the mortgage company becomes the owner of the property, and they still have to sell it. And auction.com has a platform that has an online auction of those bank-owned properties. Think of it as eBay for real estate. How many of you have ever bought anything on eBay and you're bidding in an online auction? That's the concept, only it's for real estate. So tonight I want to give you the information so that you're comfortable in doing that. We are even in the Guinness Book of World Records. How sexy is that, right? You would think to be in the Guinness Book of World Records, it's for, you know, the largest pizza or the tallest man. We're in the Guinness Book of World Records because we sold the highest priced item online. $96 million was paid for this commercial property in Manhattan Beach, California. Other items have been listed on the internet, but we actually closed this deal for $96 million on the internet. This is our own record. This was an auction in Virginia, a courthouse foreclosure sale in Virginia. They take place outside on the courthouse steps. See our team members in the auction.com green shirts. And this man was the successful bidder on this 20,000 square foot home in Virginia that sold for $7 million. You're thinking, oh my God, who would spend $7 million on the courthouse steps? The home was valued on Zillow at $24 million. So he got a really good deal. And this story was even covered in the Wall Street Journal. How many of you here are looking to spend $7 million on the courthouse steps? Yes? Maybe 8, see? So hopefully it'll be a really good deal. This is a sampling of some of our clients. These are national mortgage servicers and lenders and mortgage companies that rely on auction.com to help market their properties. Partners and investors in auction.com. Our company is a growing company. We have Starwood Capital Group. Many of you know Starwood Hotels. The Capital Group of Starwood is a partner of auction.com. Stone Point Capital. And I'm guessing you might have heard of Google. Google Capital invested $50 million last year in auction.com. A member of Google now sits on the auction.com board of directors. We have access to a lot more data and an ever increasing robust website thanks to Google as well. So this is what we call a heat map. And this is to give you an idea of the data and the information that we have available to you on auction.com. So This shows properties that are scheduled for foreclosure sale, as well as properties that have already been foreclosed on, but are going to be auctioned off by the banks or the mortgage companies as bank-owned properties. And the dark green shows the counties that have the highest volume. So as you could guess, Cuyahoga County has the highest with 107 properties currently. Lucas County, Franklin County, Summit County, Hamilton County. The counties in dark green, which obviously are the major cities in Ohio, have the biggest volume. What I want to encourage you to look at is that sometimes the counties with the highest volume are also the most competitive. Have any of you bid on a property at a foreclosure sale and not gotten it because you were outbid, because there were a lot of bidders if it was a hot property or a popular property? So what you need to remember is that if you step outside your local county, it's not very hard to travel to some of these other counties where there's still a nice number of properties, and maybe there's some really good properties, and you will have less competition and more success at getting the property. And the beauty of auction.com's website is that you can easily access the information just as you would for the local county that you're in. So you could even, theoretically, we are a national company. You will be able to find properties on our website that are in neighboring states. Ohio sits in a great spot. You've got 5 states around you. You could look at properties in those states and maybe it'll be less competitive. So that's the kind of thing that you want to look at. Some of you are new to the entire process, so I'm going to fairly quickly just go through the basics of how this property gets here in the first place. We call it the life cycle of distress. Distress meaning a property that's in distress, a loan that has gone bad, if you will. So what happens is people fall behind on their mortgage payment for a lot of different reasons. They get the loan with every intention of paying the mortgage, but they fall behind on the mortgage payments. Maybe they qualified as a husband and wife who were both working and one spouse loses their job, or one spouse gets sick and they fall behind on the payments. So what happens is they get a notice from the mortgage company that they are in default and that they're going to be in foreclosure. Now, there's options available at that time. Despite what people have heard in the media, these banks and mortgage companies don't rush to foreclose on people's homes. They don't want to push them out. They want to try to work something out. So many times, the borrowers are able to work out what's called a loan modification, which is just that. They modify the loan. The banks and the mortgage companies agree to accept lower payments, agree to push the payments that they're behind to the end. They do all kinds of creative things. But guess what? Unfortunately, many times, they fall behind on their mortgage payments again. So they end up in foreclosure. Another option that's open to them is a short sale. Has anyone ever engaged in a short sale successfully? Successfully. Who, you put your hand back down. Who was successful? All right, so a couple people were successful, a couple people weren't. And that's common. And let me explain what that is for those that aren't familiar with the term. A short sale means, let me give you an example. Let's say someone owes $100,000 on their mortgage. And as I said, in my hypothetical situation, it was a husband and wife, and the wife lost her job and they fell behind in payments. They know they're in foreclosure, so they put a for sale sign out and they try to sell the property. And the best they get, based on the value of the property, is an offer to sell the property for $80,000. Well, they can't sell it unless the bank agrees to wipe out the rest and accept $80,000 as a payoff on the loan. In other words, they would sell the property short of what they owe on it, a short sale. Now, they're foreclosing, so you would think they would accept it because clearly the value of the property isn't $100,000, it's $80,000, and if they don't accept the $80,000, they're going to foreclose anyway and be stuck with the property. But they don't, because especially the large national mortgage companies, it takes them so long to get everyone to sign off on it, but by the time they determine whether they're going to accept that offer or not, the offer's gone away, it's expired, and the buyers have moved on to something else. So very few of those really, really work out. So now the property is going to be foreclosed on. It's going to, in Ohio, it's what we call a judicial state, meaning the mortgage company or the bank has to actually sue the borrowers and get a judgment, and then they can advertise the property for a sale at the courthouse. And the property will be sold, and if it doesn't sell to anyone, if no one bids on it or no one bids enough on it, which is most of the time, the property is going to go back to the bank or the mortgage company. It is going to be owned by the bank. There's a term for that, just so you're familiar with the term. It's called REO property, stands for real estate owned by the bank. We're going to call it for tonight bank-owned property because that's the easiest way to understand it. It went to foreclosure sale, no one bought it, and now it's the bank's. And the bank needs to sell it. They're very motivated to get rid of this property because now they are the owner. They have to evict the people that are in it. They have to secure the property. They have to insure the property, and they become responsible for it. The foreclosure sales themselves take place as an auction, a live auction on the courthouse steps. Well, I guess in some of your counties, they're done inside, in a courtroom. They're different in every county. So I will be showing you how you can get that information from our auction.com website. So we have links to all the different counties so you can confirm what the specifics are for the counties that you're looking at. Even for counties that you're looking at in other states. You know, I don't know what the closest, I guess what, from where we sit, what's the closest in Michigan, Pennsylvania, West Virginia? I mean, there's a lot of close. So do think bigger than Ohio. I encourage you to do that. Now you can drive the auction. By the way, how many of you have never seen a courthouse foreclosure sale? Raise your hands. Have never gone to a courthouse foreclosure sale. So those of you that are raising your hands and those of you that are listening online, if you have never attended a foreclosure sale at the courthouse, I encourage you to do so. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And that will be part of your education. Speaking of that, how much did you pay to come tonight? It was free. It's free. So take advantage of everything that's free. And that's how you'll increase your knowledge. Knowledge is power. And that's how you're going to make the best decisions. So just like this is free, all the information that's available on our website is also free. You want to attend a foreclosure sale to get a feel for it, to understand how it works. You don't want to wait until you're there with your money and you're going to plunk it down on a property. You might be nervous. You might be intimidated. So go, get comfortable with the process and see how it works. It's really not intimidating at all. Now you can drive by the properties because the properties that have not yet been foreclosed on, many times there's people living in the property. So what that means is that you can drive by the property, but think about it. If it's being advertised in the newspaper for foreclosure, or if it's on our website that it's in foreclosure, everyone knows. If it's a hot property or a popular property, there's a lot of people driving by it. If you walk onto the property to get a closer look, you are trespassing. I don't live here. I live in Georgia, and in Georgia, everyone has guns. So I would not be trespassing on anyone's property, especially when they're in foreclosure. They're not real happy. I don't know if everyone carries guns here in Ohio, but I'm gonna guess you don't want to venture onto the property. Now, if the property is not occupied, well, I mean, that's up to you as to what risk you want to take. Technically, you're still trespassing. Now, and I'm going to show you the information that we have on our website that you combine that with driving by the property and you'll be in good shape. There isn't any buyer's premium. You're not paying a commission for these properties. If you see them on our website and you go to bid on them at the courthouse, what you get the property for is what you pay. You're not paying a commission. You're not paying anything extra. So what you really want to do is your homework. We call it due diligence. You want to do your due diligence, and I'm going to walk you through how to do that, how to do all the research so that you make the right investment decisions. So the first thing you need to do is figure out what property you're interested in bidding on. You're going to research. If you haven't done this yet, we want you to do it tonight, which is set up a login to our website. It costs how much? What do you think it costs to access our website? It's free. It's free. And if you haven't done it yet, we've got our staff in the back of the room. Tim there is our resident expert who will help you set up your account before you leave tonight. The other thing that he will do is help you figure out how to use our filters, because that's the key to finding that needle in a haystack. Everyone is going to be looking for something different. Some of you might be looking for condos. Some of you might be looking for 3-bedroom houses. Some of you might be looking in a particular zip code. Everyone has the parameters that they want to use to find their properties. And Tim will show you how to set those filters, but it is very easy. You're going to do that search, and then that's where you can start, because we'll show you on the website how you can access as much information as possible on those properties. We're going to have photographs of the properties. We might have inspection reports of the properties. We'll have preliminary title information. There's a wealth of information that's available to you on the website, and we have links to lists of frequently asked questions. We have examples of the different types of documents that will be used in the transaction, sample deeds, things like that. Also on the website, you'll see the details of the foreclosure sale itself, the date and time of the sale, where it's being held. They're different in every county. Some counties hold foreclosure sales every day. Some foreclosure sales are held in some counties every week. You're going to see that information as well. And there'll also be the information as to the law firm that's doing the foreclosure sale. You'll know how much money to bring, because sometimes it'll tell you what the opening bid is. And I'll explain that in a second. And then you would go to the foreclosure sale at the county, and hopefully you would be a successful bidder. Here is the Summit County Sheriff's Sales. This is what they look like. Has anyone been to the Summit County Sheriff's Sale? And that's what the room looked like. Were there that many people there, or more or less? Yeah, of course. Now, it's different in every state. There are some differences county to county in Ohio. In Ohio, a deposit is paid at the foreclosure sale. Some counties it's 5%, some counties it's 10%, some counties it's a minimum of $300, some counties it's a minimum of $750, it's a maximum of $10,000. All this information I'm not going to go into tonight because it's available to you on the website, so you'll know what is needed. Now, some counties take cash, and some counties do not. So really what you want to do is take certified funds with you. You know how much you're willing to spend, you know how much your deposit is going to be, you want to take certified funds. Can you take cash to the counties that accept them? Yes, but I certainly don't recommend that you do it. And I used to think that would go without saying, who's going to bring cash? But I'm telling you that in Georgia, where I live, I used to conduct the foreclosure sales, because in Georgia, the attorneys conduct the foreclosure sales, or someone from their law office, and they're conducted outside on the courthouse steps, regardless of weather. It could be raining like it is today here, or it could be hot as could be, and you're standing on the courthouse steps auctioning the property off. So one day I'm out there, our sales are once a month, so there's hundreds of people there, it's packed as could be, and I'm auctioning the property off, and a woman is the successful bidder for $42,000. Well, I said, congratulations, ma'am, you are the winner of this auction, and I need to collect your checks before I conduct the next sale. And she said, well, I don't have checks, I have cash. I said, cash? Well, by law, I have to accept cash. So come over to the side here and give me the cash. And she reaches into her bra and pulls out a lot of cash, and I had to count it twice. And I'm thinking, oh my God, This lady just walked through the streets of downtown Atlanta with cash in her bra, and like, I can't believe she did that. And then I realized I have to walk to my car in the parking garage with $42,000 in my briefcase. I was a nervous wreck. Remember, I told you they all have guns in Georgia. I felt like a target. I couldn't wait to get in the car and lock the door. So seriously, don't bring cash, even if the county says they do accept cash. And of course, you know, for your 10% deposit to be, you know, $42,000, you know, I don't know. So you want to be careful about that. Now, you do have 30 days to pay the balance. If you pay it within 8 days, you don't have to pay any interest. After that, you're going to have to pay interest. You have to pay it within 30 days. The court is going to confirm the sale, and after that, you'll get the deed. I'm not going to go into any more great details about this, but I do want to mention that the law recently changed in Ohio, and effective yesterday, they are what they call fast-tracking the foreclosure sales in Ohio for vacant properties. So they're making it a lot, it's going to be quicker to foreclose on a vacant property than it has been. And that's because there's a backlog of properties that have not yet gone to sale or not yet been foreclosed on. And we call them zombie foreclosures because no one's living in the house. The people moved out. They're not doing anything to secure it. The banks and mortgage companies can't really step in until they take title and own the property. So I think you're going to see in the next couple of months, a lot more properties coming up for sale in Ohio. So you might want to start paying close attention and for sure set some filters on our website. So here's another heat map, and this shows you the foreclosure properties that we have on auction.com. Remember, I told you we've got two types of properties: properties going to foreclosure sale, properties already owned by the bank. This, we've just pulled out the properties that are scheduled for foreclosure sale, and they're on auction.com. There are more properties than this in the whole state of Ohio that are scheduled for foreclosure sale, but these are the ones that the mortgage companies have hired us to market these properties for them. So this is really good opportunities for you. There's 32 properties in Cuyahoga County alone, and then Lucas, Franklin, Hamilton, Summit. So you want to look again at these counties that are in dark green, but also some of these other counties where there might be less competition. When you do your search, we're going to set you up with your login and password. We're going to show you how to filter. And this is the type of results you're going to get when you do your search. So here is a search that was based on properties in Summit County that are scheduled for foreclosure sale. You're going to get these results. There's 18 results. You get these thumbnail photographs of the properties. We've even added to this for purposes of this presentation. In red, we show you the Zillow range of valuations for that area, for where those properties are. Our properties that are on auction.com are also listed on Zillow. So you could go to Zillow and get more information about how to value that property. And that is information that's also free. So when you click on the individual photograph, you're going to go directly to the property on our website. There will be more photographs. There will be, as I said, there might be property inspection reports, preliminary title information, and links to a lot of other sources. So there's a lot of information you're going to get on each property, and then you're also going to see the specifics about the sale. So you can't read it from where you're sitting, but this shows you that this property is scheduled for a live foreclosure sale on September 30th at 10 o'clock. And then when you click on that on the individual property, it'll tell you the terms, whether that's a county that's 5%, 10%, how much the deposit is, and that's how you'll know. So what did I mean when I said due diligence? How do you do all this research? I like to think of it as building a network, because you need as much information as you can on this property. Yes, you can sit on your computer all day long, but you need more information than just that. I've told you all the information that we provide you, but I suggest that if you're going to go into this not even just as a business, but as an investment, you need to talk to other people. You need to have a network. So I'm a former attorney. What am I going to suggest? Talk to an attorney. Everyone would come to me as an attorney after the fact. They'd come to me and they'd say, oh, you have to help me. I bought this property at foreclosure and now it looks like there's a problem with the title, or I can't get the eviction completed and I don't know what to do and I'm losing money on it. And I think, oh, I wish you came to me first. I wish you came to me in advance. I wish you sought advice. Now, I'm not saying you have to have an attorney on retainer and that you're going to need them for every single thing, but until you really know what you're doing, I would suggest you talk to an attorney. Yes, they might charge you a consultation fee, but then you'll know what to do. You'll know if look, if you're going to invest in 1, 2, some of you 5 properties, that's a lot of money. So if you have to pay a little bit of money for a consultation, it will be money wisely spent. So you want to do that. You might need an attorney to help you do your first eviction. You won't need them after the first couple of ones, but you might need an attorney to help you with that. So I would encourage you to network with an attorney. Well, there you go. Good point. So also an attorney, a tax professional, a financial advisor, you just want to talk to these people, tell them what you're doing. They might advise you to form an LLC. They might advise you to buy these properties and take title of each property in the name of an LLC and not just your personal name. There's all kinds of information that you could gain from those professionals. I'm also going to tell you to talk to real estate professionals, real estate agents. Do we have any real estate agents here? All right, keep your hand up. Keep your hands up. There was another? Who else? All right, so we have 1 real estate agent here. Everyone who's here, talk to this lady. She knows a lot. She's going to be able to help you understand valuation. She might say to you, when you show her the properties you're looking at, she might say, oh no, don't get anything on that street. They've already had 4 foreclosures on that street. Or she might say, don't get anything on this other street. It's very hard to rent. Or she might suggest this other one as a street where they really are looking for rentals. She has a lot of information about valuation. She has a lot of help that she could provide. The other thing, as you're learning here tonight, there are also local groups they're called RIA groups, Real Estate Investors Association. There's local groups where they will hold regular meetings of people like you who are interested in investing in foreclosed properties. Go to their meetings, go to their website, talk to them. Y'all can talk to each other because you're going to be able to help each other. You're also going to need to talk possibly to a title company. We have Liz here from Stewart Title. She's going to talk to you when I'm done. So she can help you determine whether there are title issues on that property. Maybe it's not a good investment because the title won't be clear after the foreclosure sale. Or maybe it's an even better deal because of the shape of the title. In the beginning, you need to speak with a title professional until you learn what to look for yourself. And then you might need more money to buy these properties. Who doesn't want money, right? So we have Colony American Finance who's here tonight, who will speak to you about opportunities in the realm of financing for these purchases. So those are all the types of professionals that you need. Basically a network. And it is said that your net worth is only as good as your net work. So here you have an opportunity for free tonight to network. We have a real estate agent, we have a title person, we have a bank, we have a lot of professionals who we can help each other. And you can talk to each other. Those of you who haven't bought a property yet can talk to the people who raised their hands and said they've bought more than 5. They know the ropes and they've been, you know, probably had success stories and probably had some stories that they could tell you as well. And all that is great information to have. So that's how you begin to do your research. The other thing that I would encourage you to do is when you're researching these properties, both for the foreclosure properties and the bank-owned properties, research more than one property. You might find the property that's perfect for you on our website and do all this research and talk to your network, and then you get to the courthouse and guess what? The sale's canceled. A great number of these sales cancel. After you've done all that research, the sale could have canceled because maybe the borrowers, everyone at their church scraped together all the money so they could bring their loan current at the last minute. Or maybe they worked something out with the bank or the mortgage company at the last minute and the bank canceled the foreclosure sale. Or maybe they did sell the property, or maybe they filed bankruptcy because they had other financial problems and they filed bankruptcy, which automatically stops that foreclosure sale immediately. So if you're going to invest your time in researching these properties, look at more than one. Look at several so that your chances, again, will increase so that you can bid on these properties at the foreclosure sale. Same thing with the bank-owned properties. You want to look at several properties. So now the properties that didn't go to foreclosure sale, or didn't sell, I should say, successfully, become bank-owned properties. So this heat map shows you the properties that are currently scheduled to be auctioned off online, are online auctions, not courthouse auctions, but the online auctions in Ohio. These are auction.com's upcoming auctions. We've got 75 in Cuyahoga County alone and 32 here in Summit County. Just in those two counties, there's over 100 properties for sale. So those are great properties to look at, as well as the other counties where there might be less competition. Same thing, you're going to filter the same way, or whatever interests you for the number of properties that you're going to look at, and you're going to get these thumbnail pictures of the properties that are scheduled for sale. Here we again have shown you what the Zillow estimates are, and here we also have many times what the starting bid is. So here, for example, is one where it says it's going to have an online auction starting on October 1st, and the starting bid is $2,500. Here's an interesting one. This one has a starting bid of $1. The online auction starts on October 8th, and it's $1. Actually, it looks kind of okay. 2,200 square feet, 4 bedrooms in Akron, Chester Avenue. Anyone live on Chester Avenue? Where's my real estate agent?
What's the zip?
44314. Well, $1. I'll give you $1. Here's $1. Go try it. So there's a lot of opportunities available to you. Also, this one, you're also going to see some of these. See this little white box? It says pre-auction bid. That means that you could actually, before the auction, pre-auction, tender an offer, make an offer. When you're on the website and you click on that, there's a way on the website for you to enter what your offer is, and it's possible the bank or mortgage company might sell it to you outright without it ever going to auction, because the banks own these properties. So buying the properties in our online auctions is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Literally, you're going to, as I said, find the properties using all your filters. And when you do that, and I'll show you in a second, when you do a search for properties, you also create an alert so that you will get notifications of other properties when they come up. Then you're going to register to bid in an auction. And then if you are the winning bidder, you will submit your documents, sign your documents through our website, and then it'll be scheduled for closing. Not only do we have our website that you access from your computer, but we also have an app for your iPad. We have an app for your iPhone. And now that we have Google as our partner, we have an app for the Android. And when you're looking at our website on these devices, it's been optimized. So it's just as easy to use as using the computer. What that means is that you can access this information anywhere you are. We just last week had a bidder from Canada who entered a bid in an online auction on his iPad on a Florida property while he was on vacation in Mexico. I mean, you can travel the world. I know you have a question. I'm not going to take it, though, right now because we have so much to cover, and I have 2 other speakers. So what I'm going to tell you is that hold that question, write it down so you don't forget it, and we are going to stay as long as we have to afterwards to personally answer your questions one-on-one, because everyone has different questions. So we'll make sure everything is answered. Now, these bank-owned properties, in some ways, carry, I don't want to necessarily say less risk, but it's a different set of risks than when you're buying the properties at the courthouse auctions. And that's why not a huge percentage of the properties sell at the courthouse auctions, because as I said, do you remember I said you can only drive by the property? Even if it's unoccupied, you cannot enter the property because the bank doesn't own it yet. So you are buying a property sight unseen. You're buying it as is without having entered the property. Now, if people haven't been able to make their mortgage payment, they probably haven't been able to maintain the property perfectly either. So that's a risk that you take. I do hear of some horror stories once in a while. We had a property we foreclosed on in Nashville, Tennessee, and it was an expensive property. It was $750,000. So no one ever thought there'd be anything wrong with the inside of the property. It was owned by a doctor. Well, turns out the doctor and his wife were going through some nasty divorce. And before she left the house, she ripped out the countertops and the fireplace mantle and took it with her. And no one expected that until they went into the house. Now, I don't want to say, oh, that's so scary, you shouldn't buy any property at a foreclosure sale. Chances are that's not going to happen, but some of the investors are better able to sustain the risk that that could happen to them. We have some investors who are buying dozens of properties and they know every, 10th one is going to have some sort of problem. Whereas with the bank-owned properties, and you will see on our website as well, many times they will have a real estate agent. They will have an open house. You might be able to schedule a time to go in and see the property. So that's what I mean when I say there's a little less risk or different risks that are available to you. The title might end up being cleaner or cleared because the foreclosure sale extinguishes or wipes out a lot of the liens that are later than the mortgage. And so when you buy the bank-owned property, the title has already been cleared. You know exactly what you owe on that property. It might be property taxes, it might be other liens, but it'll be very clear. Also, on these bank-owned properties, as I said before, the mortgage companies want to get rid of them. They're motivated to get rid of these properties, and so you have opportunities to make really good deals and buy them without it'll be indicated on the website whether there's a buyer's premium or not, in other words, whether there's a commission for a real estate agent. How these online auctions work is the properties that are going to be auctioned off come up on our website 2 to 3 weeks before the auction starts. So you have plenty of notice and plenty of time to research the properties. The sales happen for several days. So Midwest properties, which Ohio is considered in the Midwest, if they start on a Tuesday, the auction will start on a Tuesday, it will end on a Friday. If it starts on a Friday, it will end on a Tuesday. So Ohio auctions are either Tuesday to Friday or Friday to Tuesday. Every so often, we will have nationwide events, and Ohio properties might be in those. And those might start and end on different days. And those are typically properties that have been auctioned off, no one bought them, a month or two goes by, they auction them off again. It might be at a lower price because now it's been offered several times and they still haven't been able to sell it. So those are very interesting to look at as well. The auctions that take place online happen it's very easy to participate in them. You're going to register. You already have your login and password to the website, so now you would register to bid in the online auction. And all that you will need to provide is a credit card with a $2,500 hold. Now, we're not charging your credit card. I've already told you all of this is free, but we have to confirm that you're legitimate. It's no different than this morning when I checked in at the Marriott. My room was already paid for, but they asked for a credit card. And they put a hold on the credit card in case I use any incidentals. Well, believe me, there's no minibar in there, so there's nothing for me to take advantage of or pay for. So when I leave tomorrow morning, nothing will have been charged on my credit card and it'll be released to me. Same thing here. You put up your credit card with $2,500. When the auction is over, it's released. We've never charged anyone's credit card. Now, if you successfully purchase a property in our online auction and you come back again the next time, you're not going to have a $2,500 hold. We'll know you. It'll only be $500. We want you to keep coming back and acquiring more properties. We want you to be successful. Now, on the example I gave of buying something in an eBay auction, when you buy something on eBay, there are people who watch to wait until the bidding is going to close and they jump in at the very last second and outbid you. We don't want that to happen. We want this to be a transparent process. So at the very end of the auction, when you see the clock running and you know the auction is ending, if someone jumps in and outbids you, the bidding will remain open for another 90 seconds so that you can enter your real bid, and it'll keep going for 90 seconds. I was at our main office in California. We have walls of computer monitors where they are watching these auctions and monitoring them to make sure everything happens properly. Also, our mortgage companies, as I said to you, are motivated to sell these properties. When we have these auctions that have occurred over and over and the property hasn't sold, sometimes the mortgage company will be there with us and watch the bidding process, and they will say, oh, all right, if that's the highest we're going to get, let's just accept it. So that's another advantage of participating in these online auctions. Then if you're the successful bidder, you're going to have to post a deposit. You're going to have to sign your documents, and all that will happen through the auction.com website. And then you will have a contract that will determine when it's going to close, typically within 30 to 45 days, maybe sooner. I don't know the specifics about Ohio, but everything happens through DocuSign. Has anyone used DocuSign before? Very easy, very straightforward. That's how you'll sign the documents. And the DocuSign process is housed on the auction.com website. So that means that at any given time, you will be able to see where you are in the transaction. Now, we have a real estate agent here. Listen up here, because again, you're a valuable person for us to know. For investors to know a real estate agent, they are a great resource for you. Real estate agents know contractors. So someone is a contractor, I think. Was it you? Someone told me they do, if you watch TV and you see fix or flip, and you want to rehab the property, agents can help you find contractors. Agents can help you hook up with real estate attorneys. They can obviously help you to value or determine the value of the property that you're looking at. They know hard money lenders. They know title agents. They're a great resource for you. If you are an agent, listen up here, because you have an opportunity as well. There is nothing to prevent you from negotiating a fee for your services. So you can negotiate with the investor a fee to help them find a property. We have investors who are not super active because they're busy at work. So you can negotiate an acquisition fee. You can negotiate a fee to manage the rehab of the property. You could also manage or contract for a fee to secure the listing of the flip if they're looking to resell the property. And you're going to be able to make new clientele that way, or you yourself, the real estate agent, could become the investor in which you would be entitled to the commission. You can be. Go, in fact, write this down. Go to that website. Have you looked at that?
I didn't get the commission twice. I bought 2 houses and didn't get
Oh, no. All right. Well, we'll talk to you about to help you through that. Because one of the other advantages of this, of participating on our website, is what we call the auction.com community. So when you're on the website, there is a tab at the bottom marked community. And what that does is it takes you to a wealth of information. So if you go to, write this down, auction.com/community, you can access webinars such as this. We're taping this and it'll be recorded and you could watch it again or listen to it again. We don't have the camera, so remember what I look like. then you also can access the lists of frequently asked questions. You can access information about buying properties at the foreclosure sales. You can access information that's been posted elsewhere, and you also have the ability to type in a question. You can type in a question. It's not a live chat room, but you can type in your question and we will route it to a professional for Ohio who can answer it for you if you don't see the question already listed in the frequently asked questions. You can also go to this, auction.com/ASKOH. Write that down. That will take you to more specific information on Ohio. You know what it is for Pennsylvania? ASKPA, yeah. So now you've caught our secret code here. But my point is that the same information that's available to you on these Ohio properties is available to you all across the country. So this is what it looks like. If you haven't been there yet, we'll show you tonight. We'll take you here, and this is where you sign in. So this is where you're going to create your login to set up your account. And then you will have a dashboard where you will hold your searches. So here, we did a search in Summit County. We were looking at properties. See, we have foreclosure sales circled. So the filter I used was I wanted to see properties in Summit County that are currently scheduled for foreclosure sale. And I got 20 results. I get a map view that shows where they are on the map. I also get these thumbnails so I can see each individual property. Then I can click on each one and see the specifics. Now that I've saved that search, I'm going to receive an email anytime something else comes up scheduled for foreclosure sale in Summit County. And this is what it looks like. So I'm going to get these other properties that come up. If this shows that I'm getting these emails daily, when they come up, I will receive it daily. If I don't want to receive it daily, I'm in control. You're in control of these searches so that if you decide your inbox is being flooded, then you're in control. You've not signed up for anything that you can't unsubscribe to. So when you get the alert on the next property that came up that was within the terms of your search, you would just click on Manage My Alert and you would turn it off so that you don't receive it daily. Maybe you'll receive it monthly. It's totally up to what you need. So as I said, auction.com provides you a wealth of data for free. It is an incredible resource that if you combine that with your network, you're going to be able to, with great knowledge, be able to search from your desktop or your iPhone, wherever you are, information on all these 50 states. And the process of acquiring the properties should be transparent and seamless. So I think these are great opportunities. I think you're going to see more and more properties coming up in Ohio in particular. And so your timing to come here tonight is excellent. Now, I'm going to invite Liz to come up. Oh, you want to do Nick first? Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're first going to have Nick Walling from Colony American Finance come up and talk to you about financing. I'm going to switch the mic over so that we can pick him up on the internet on the live stream. Also, before I forget, we have at your tables surveys. So please complete the survey before you leave tonight, because that helps us to make sure we're offering the right information to you. Thank you.
Sounds good. Thank you, Joel.
Here.
Brief introduction, intermission. Perfect. Good. Cool. Thank you. Well, good evening, everybody. As Joel said, I'm Nick Walling with Colony American Finance. And just a little background, Colony American Finance is a nationwide direct lender that works specifically with residential real estate investors. We provide both short-term bridge financing for the fix and flip model or the larger portfolio asset aggregation model, as well as kind of long-term financing or portfolio mortgages for those who have existing, groups of assets or multiple mortgages that are looking to consolidate for long-term debt solutions. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about kind of how finance can be used as a tool in addition to, your title officer, your realtor, auction.com, and finding and acquiring these assets. We're just another partner or another, member of the team as we help you kind of grow your real estate portfolios or, achieve your goals and whatever you may be looking to do specifically. So when it comes to financing, I'm sure you all have a little experience here and there, whether it's with your personal residence or, student debt, whatever it may be. But there's obviously a few or multiple opportunities or kind of solutions when it comes to finding financing. That's, friends and family, your local bank, marketplace lenders, the local credit union, regional banks, things along those lines, or the old, savings account, gold buried in the backyard, mattress savings account, whatever it may be. Colony, on the other hand, is a private lender, and Colony American Finance is specific to the residential real estate investment space. So what we do is we work and design programs specifically for the residential investor, whereas the Wells Fargos of the world, the B of A's, they cast the brushstroke a little bit wider and may not have as much experience in one particular area as others. So we think that that is one of the many values we kind of bring to the marketplace. So just to kind of briefly touch on some of the benefits of financing, we provide the opportunity to pull some equity out of your existing investments or provide you with kind of that upfront capital to get started in the business. So we help you unlock that equity that you may already have and leverage that further to expand your reach, to expand what you can acquire or what you can be using those funds for to, again, help you grow your portfolio, grow your investment, and ultimately become bigger and better and more successful within the space. So to kind of speak to the business model that I'm assuming the majority of you are kind of following is either the kind of fix and flip model where you're acquiring assets for kind of below market value or that are in less than perfect condition, putting in a new kitchen, new bathrooms, carpeting, some fresh paint, curb appeal, very HD TV, and then looking to sell those again on the market to make profit. And then there's the other model, which is buying and acquiring assets one after another to not only collect that market appreciation, year after year, but also to recognize that rental income. Because who doesn't like that kind of passive income every month? Your mailbox is full of rental checks. It could be part of a retirement strategy or a full-time career. We work with everyone in between, everyone from kind of the mom and pop investors who have, one or two assets to those institutional players who are, purchasing hundreds of homes a month and have portfolios of thousands of homes. So that being said, just to kind of touch on the fix and flip model, if you were to do this all cash, which many people do, let's just take one scenario into account. If you have one house which you would purchase for $80,000, let's say you put $20,000 into landscaping and a new kitchen, and you look to sell it on the market for $120,000. That's a pretty great return of 20%. Who doesn't want to make 20 grand on a single transaction, especially if your initial investment is only 100? Utilizing financing or leverage or Colony American Finance specifically, we could help you take that initial $80,000 and stretch it a bit farther in the hopes of acquiring 3 homes with a similar kind of rehab structure, just keep the numbers easy. And taking into account, again, that rehab, cash to close, and the combined resale value of not 1 home, but 3, your profit margin increases significantly with that same upfront cash. So again, this isn't for everyone, this isn't for every scenario, but it's important to understand that there are financing options out there that can help you grow these returns. And ultimately, to flip 1 house, to flip 3 houses, at the end of the day, I'd like to kind of recognize 46,000 as opposed to 20. To take a look at things from a portfolio management or a portfolio aggregation perspective, same kind of scenario, same kind of numbers, just to keep things easy. If we look at, sorry about that. If we look at 1 house at $100,000, Colony American Finance can turn that $100,000 cash investment into 4 down payments at 25%. So for the same cash invested, you can have 1 house or 4, and we look at it as it's a marginal, cost of capital and paying a monthly interest payment, whereas you could be collecting more rents, you could be recognizing more market appreciation. It's really, again, just kind of the value of leveraging the money or the capital or the investment dollars you already have and stretching them a bit further so that, again, you can get the most bang for your buck. As we talk about that from a rental model, I mean, again, it's very similar kind of analogy here. I mean, 1 house, $1,000 a month, or 4 houses, $4,000 a month, both with the same initial cash investment. We again are just specializing in the marketplace and helping you investors kind of realize those returns and again meet your real estate goals faster and more efficiently. So in terms of obtaining financing, it's not as easy as just filling something out on the website, but that really is kind of your first step. You're welcome to come and talk to either myself or my colleague Steve, who's sitting here in the back, about kind of Colony's program specifically, but it's also important to do your due diligence, and I know we're going to be speaking about that a little bit later. It's important to understand what you're looking to do, who's best adept at helping you meet those goals. And I mean, it really comes down to identifying who you're looking to work with, filling out the application, going through that due diligence process, and really, pulling that equity out so that, again, you're welcome to go out into the marketplace and buy more homes. That being said, just to touch on Colony American Finance again, and something that we can do for you a little bit more specifically, because we know this is a pretty, broad marketplace, and there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of different things. Colony specializes in helping investors of all sizes, shapes, and sophistications. We, on the small side, have a single asset program that is designed specifically for non-owner occupied residential investment portfolios, where we'll provide roughly 75% of your value, again, so you can pull that cash out and continue buying more, use that equity to rehab additional assets. I mean, again, it's just the flexibility of having that money, of having that additional leverage. Kind of in the midterm or in the short-term investment strategies, we have bridge credit lines or lines of credit, acquisition financing, that can be used, to, again, acquire assets that you're looking to flip in the short term. It provides you kind of that bridge financing, something to acquire the asset, but not to, lock up too much of your cash while you, again, put in that new kitchen or kind of paint the exterior before putting it on the market. And then it can also be used to purchase multiple homes with the hopes of kind of aggregating a larger pool so that you could utilize our third product line, which is going to be our term portfolio mortgage. So this is really where we've made our name in the marketplace. Colony Capital, which is our parent company, has been in the real estate space for over 30 years. They manage over, I want to say, $30 billion in assets. Colony American Finance is the debt arm of that private equity firm. And we've been in business just under 3 years, and last month hit our $2 billion in loans closed. So we're doing a lot of business. We're doing a lot of these mortgage, blanket mortgage, term portfolios. And again, it's just another opportunity to pull some leverage out of the existing assets you may have, or to, acquire a larger portfolio for greater investment. So again, Steve and I are happy to talk to the specifics. I mean, I'm not going to bore you up here with LTVs and interest rates and prepayment penalties, but again, any kind of specific questions, I'm happy to answer them or address any kind of scenarios, being that, again, this is our bread and butter. But, ultimately, I look forward to speaking with most of you after the show. And again, feel free to reach out to us on our website. But with that being said, I'm going to pass it back to Joel, and we're going to speak a little bit more about due diligence and title.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I hope our folks on the internet.
I hope so too. I'm sure they did. Thank you. And again, he's remaining, so you'll be able to ask questions directly afterwards. And now here's Liz Dunlap, so now you know someone entitled.
Yeah, pin me. That means we're going together now.
All right.
Which one am I hitting? Which one?
Nothing. This is just
Oh, my
the
God.
tape. You want
Thank
to
you.
just hold this.
Okay. Oh, all these high-tech gadgets here. Well, I'm Liz Dunlap, and I'm with Stewart Title, and wow, I got to follow you two. This is tough. Joel, you did a great job, and Colony America, you guys did a great job. So Stewart Title, we're a national underwriter. We're one of the big 3 national underwriters, but we're also your local presence. So a lot of our direct operations, personally, our office is we have one in Westlake, we have one in Willoughby, and one in Medina. So we're also your local presence, and you'd be dealing with us directly. The mothership, as I like to refer to it, is in Houston, and Stewart Title's been around for 125 years, so we're not going anywhere. We've been around a long time. I would say what sets us apart is we do really try to build the relationships. We were family owned and run for so many years, and that's what you got to build, those relationships. Like Joel, you moved on me. So like Joel mentioned, you really want to partner with someone that you can call and to work with. So that's very important, building those relationships. So foreclosure, share of sales, REOs, and bank owned. honestly, Joe, you did such a good job that I really don't even know why I'm up here, because that was the main part of what I was going to talk about is, yeah, buyer beware. Even the counties will even say that. You have to do your due diligence. So when the foreclosure property goes to sheriff's sale, my suggestion was going to be the same. Go to them. Just sit there and observe, because every county is different. They all do things differently. You can find out some information. You mentioned it, Joel. You can go to the preliminary judicial report. You can get that online. It's usually the first line item. So you can go and do a little digging around and find out a few things on your own. If you want a little more warm, fuzzy feeling, you can contact your title company and you can get a lien search, and we would issue a letter report. That would be about $150 and up. It just depends on the property. If you want even more of a warm, fuzzy feeling, you would need to get a title exam and a commitment, which would cost you $425. Then from there, then you kind of have an idea of what you're working with. It's not a full title search, but you'd still have a pretty good idea of what you're working with there. Bank-owned and the REOs. Those you can work directly. You can, if you can find that bank person, which that's the needle in the haystack, is finding that person. Yeah, I know you guys are all laughing, because there's so many moving parts, there's so many variables, and to find that one person to talk to at some of the large banks is difficult. If you have a smaller bank, a community bank, you can find that person or a person who can help you. But when you're working with some of these big people, and who knows what state they're in, it's a little difficult to nail that person down. The properties are sold usually as is, like Joel mentioned. You don't know what's inside, you don't know what you're getting, so be prepared for that. And sorry, mortgage people back there, cash is king. So I will say, when you have an offer, if it's going to be a cash offer, oh, they're going to look at that a lot more favorable than if you had, if you're getting a loan, because there's going to be some possible, setbacks on that. So the whole title process, it's really the same as any other real estate transaction. It's really not that much different. We would receive the contract. The title company would receive the contract. We would do the title exam. If there is a lender involved, the lender would send us their requirements. Then we get the documents. We would order the deed from an attorney. We would prepare the commitment. Then the lender, and we get that to the lender, and they look at everything. Then they would say, okay, we're ready to go. They send us the approval. Then the closing documents are prepared. We schedule the closing. You come in, you sign the documents, it's recorded, property is yours. It's really not that big of a difference really than a regular purchase. How long does this take? That depends on our lenders. If you are going to the sheriff's sales and the bank owned, or just sheriff's sales, those most of them are 30 days. You got to have that. So you better have that partnership with that bank you're working with, because you need to have that cash in 30 days. And there's been new regulations that rolled out last year, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which is the CFPB. They came up with, just more government stuff to go through. And a 30-day close is a little tougher now. So definitely get with that lender that you're going to be working with, build that relationship so that they understand what you're going through, and you have, hey, I got a sheriff's sale. This has got to happen in 30 days. There's appraisals that will have to probably be done. You're going to have to line up the home inspection. If you get some bank is going to say they want some kind of a home inspection maybe to give you the money, Then you got the cash deals. They're going to close a little faster. There's, that's going to be, like I said, it's more appealing. So they're going to close a little faster. But again, that depends on who we're all working with, because we can make phone calls all day long to everyone. And if you don't get back to us, we're stuck. So everyone being involved and on the same page is very important. Point of sales, big thing in Northeast Ohio up here. So all these cities have these point of sales, and you got to schedule those. And nothing can close. An occupancy permit cannot be given out until that point of sale is done. So we're waiting on the city. So sometimes that takes a little longer. City of Cleveland, I know we're down here in Summit, but City of Cleveland has this disclosure that it can take a week or more just to get. So it costs $60, you send it in, the city says, I don't know, I even know all what they do with it, but it's any type of residential property, you have to have this disclosure, and it can take a week to get it through the city. Who pays for what? It depends on the contract. Everything is negotiable. So it depends on what we see, and once we get all that information, then we kind of know what we're working with. Every bank does things differently. So some banks, they have a specific title company they like to work with. So they're going to say, no. You got to use title company ABC. You're going to say, hey, I met Liz Dunlap. I met her at auction.com. I really want to work with her. And they're going to say, okay, fine. But you might end up paying the majority of the closing costs. You really got to watch that. So you got to make sure you find out those things. And, you know, and I get it. I understand. You're buying a property worth X number of dollars, and you're going to have more costs and sometimes in the fees. So you have to make sure that you know what each group is going to pay for. So here's a little example I put up here. So for a $50,000 home, I mean, these are kind of our standard fees. There might be a few other things, but these are pretty much the fees that you're going to be looking at. And there's a little pointer here with light, isn't there? Which is this one. Oh, look, toys. Yay. I have skills. So you have that fee, and then these are other things that all go along with it. Now, this one here, that's a full, usually that owner's policy. Oh, that's the other thing. Get an owner's policy. Get an owner's policy. Did I say get an owner's policy? Because that's going to be the thing that covers you the most. You need to get an owner's policy. There's loan policies. There's different policies. There's a guarantee. They're not going to cover you for what you need. So get an owner's policy. And that's the full boat for that owner's policy. That usually it's split, but you're going to end up paying for the whole thing. They're going to say, we aren't paying for it. You guys are going to pay for it. So that's the whole fee there. And then to transfer, I mean, these numbers are here, just so you know, these numbers here, that's a formula for that. So you pay $5.75, so $5.75 for every 1,000 of the sale price. And there's a minimum of that. So that's what that comes out to. And the conveyance fee is you pay $4 for every 1,000 of the sale price, which would be $200. So those fees will change as that sale price goes up. And then you got all the other things. You can, it depends on the lender. Whether you want to have a location survey, they might require it, they might not. So you can see what the average costs would be. These were lenders' endorsements that are just the normal ones that we have. So it could cost you, almost $2,000 in title fees and everything like that. And that's it. I'm Liz Dunlap with Stewart Title, and I'm actually filling in for Edie Call. She is my West Side partner, and I'm here on the East Side. So, do you know Edie?
I just got a package from her yesterday.
Yes, Edie's great. Wonderful, wonderful. So if you have any questions, I will be here. I have no clue where that. Okay, good.
Okay.
So I'll be in the back too if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. So before I break up, I just wanted to tell you to be sure to see Tim in the back, who can help you figure out how to filter your searches, and then take advantage of starting your networking here tonight. You have a real estate agent here. You have investors who've invested in a lot. You actually have two title companies here. Raise your hand. We have Bob Hoos from Omega Title, who's also here as well. And so you can ask questions of them. And we, as you heard from Nick, we have Colony American. So there's a lot of resources to you. Be sure to fill out the surveys. I want to thank everyone on the downs who's been listening to our live stream. And also, I just want to thank our team, all the green shirts that you see. They've worked extremely hard this week. Sharifa, Susan, Brock, Brian, Tim, and my mentor, Kelly. Thank you. So thank you for coming, and don't leave yet. Make sure you get your questions answered.